The Dewar Quadrant, the #1 Langston Lions at 32-1 this year. 2 more 1 seats today, Langston, and later on tonight, College of Idaho. Tip is in the air, won by LSU Shreveport. The Pilots 24-8 this season, 16-6 in the Red River Athletic Conference. Their starters are Calvin Carpenter, Paul King, Damon Davis, Tyler Washington, and Josh LeBlanc. King on the pull-up. And the rebound down to Jaquavius Lennox, senior from Hugo, Oklahoma, who is joined by Cortez Mosley, J. Allen Tovar, ToruDean, and Anthony Roy in the starting 5 for Langston. Here is Roy, the Lions' leading scorer. He is bumped and fouled by Damon Davis. Roy averages 19 a game for his head coach, Chris Wright. In just his second season at Langston, look at that record, 63-4. And he took over a Lions program that was in the depths of despair. Been here in Kansas City the last few years. Took fellow HBCU Talladega to the national title game a couple of seasons ago. Cortez Mosley misses the 3, and it's rebounded by Calvin Carpenter. Carpenter got bumped by Lennox, who picks up the 2-hand touch foul. Basket is waved off for the foul on the floor. First against Langston, 57 seconds in. Talladega came up just short under Chris Wright in what turned out to be his final game as the Tornadoes head coach. A loss to that Loyola juggernaut that had then 4 of its 5 starters transferred to Division I, and 2 of them, Miles Burns and Zach Reitzel, now in the G League. Starting 5 there for the Pilots under Kyle Blankenship in his 12th season. 9 to shoot. Down on the block, it's LeBlanc. Nice move and finish. First bucket goes to Shreveport. LeBlanc averages 7 a game, 6 rebounds. Senior from Baton Rouge. Here's ToruDean. Not a lot of penetration for the Lions. Tries to whip one underneath, either toward Allen Tovar on the block or toward cutting Lennox. Either way, it's out of bounds. Langston keeps it. There is Kyle Blankenship, taking the Pilots now to their 19th consecutive NAIA tournament appearance, though they have not been to the Fab Four since 2018. Good inbound play by Langston. Lennox missed the layup, but a goaltend called on Josh LeBlanc, who just went up with his right hand and tipped it as the ball was hanging over the rim. Look from here like probably the right call. It's unlucky for LeBlanc because the ball's just sort of hung there. Get a second look here. There's the first bounce, and it just sticks there. Clearly, it looks like there's a part of the ball still over the rim. It's not on the rim by the time he touches it, but right there when he makes contact, we don't have that overhead look, but it looks like clearly a part of that ball is still over the cylinder. And you can see what the officials were looking at. It's really unlucky, though, for LeBlanc, because based on the angle of that ball coming down and making the initial contact of the rim, you wouldn't have expected it to take a second bounce off the iron. Discussion with Chris Wright now on the Langston bench. Maybe clarifying whether J. Allen Tovar, who was favoring something, was going to be able to stay in the game, or whether the Lions were going to have to make a substitution. But Allen Tovar does, in fact, stay in. After all that, it's 2-2. Nearly 2 minutes played. First of 4 round of 16 games today. We'll do 4 more tomorrow in the quarterfinals here in KC. These teams will take Sunday off and resume with the semis Monday night. National Championship Tuesday. Underneath, good back cut and finish by Damon Davis, senior from Atlanta. Averages 10 a game. Poked away by Lennox, and it ends up right here, making LeBlanc who made the play. Good feed from LeBlanc on the other end for Davis. Pilots have been to the Fab Four twice in program history. Mentioned the most recent one in 2018. They beat Kansas Wesleyan by 6 in overtime in the first round this year, and then Concordia of Nebraska by 24 in the second round to get here to Municipal Auditorium. Lennox goes into the corner for Dean. Little slip, rifles underneath to Alan Tovar, 2 to shoot. Lennox has to force it up, and he sticks it. Good ball movement by Langston late in the clock, and the Lions have their first lead. Lennox, a 38% three-point shooter, got a pretty good look considering where they were in the shot clock. Good ball movement by the Pilots, but Washington off the mark on the 3. And a foul underneath goes against Shreveport. Second team foul for the Pilots in the opening 3 minutes. Thought Alan Tovar would go up with it, just 2 in the shot clock, and it's not an easy 3. It's a wide open shot in the end for Lennox, but that's a low catch. And he didn't have time, I don't think, to take one dribble and sort of steady himself and find a rhythm. A lot of times that's one of the things that separates college players from pros, is their ability to make threes with their feet maybe a little bit unsettled after having to make a high catch, a low catch, a pass that was outside the pocket. Lennox had to go down below his knees, catch that close to the right ankle. But 5-4 Langston. The foul went on Davis, by the way, so he has 2 already. Step back jumper rattles out from Anthony Roy, who is not yet on the scoreboard. Sharif knocks into the game, jostling for the rebound, and then might have grabbed onto the foot of Paul King. Indeed, it is a foul on Knox. So I think inadvertently just got a piece of Paul King's left heel. 2 fouls on each team, but as mentioned, Damon Davis, the senior from Atlanta, who averages, though, 10 points a game and had the second bucket already for Shreveport, got both of the Pilots' fouls in the first 3 minutes. So he has taken a seat, number 4 in gray. Carpenter probing, skips it across to Paul King. Top 3 might have been hit, didn't get a call, and it's rebounded by Dean for Langston. Lions nearly lost it, and it's just kept in on the sideline by Anthony Roy. Pull-up, contested triple, missed it. Rebound LeBlanc. 4 minutes played, somewhat ragged start. Both teams 2 of 5 from the field. Inside, LeBlanc turns and scores. Josh LeBlanc has 4 points in the early going, and LSU Shreveport back in front. See, all 6 of those Pilots points have come in the paint. All layups so far. Roy turns the corner. Roy got hit, lost the ball. Knox recovers. Roy for 3. Rims out. Roy a slow start. Rebound loose and eventually corralled by Carpenter. 5-on-4 for Shreveport with Knox down behind the flag. Carpenter, Euro. Carpenter to the right hand off the window. Beautiful move by Calvin Carpenter. 13 a game to lead the Pilots, but they are balanced under Kyle Blankenship. 4 different players average double figures. Langston has only 3, but it has Anthony Roy, easily the highest scoring player in this game based on season average. So he started 0 for 3. Knox negotiates inside, tried to slip an underhand pass to Mayak Kawat, the senior from Salt Lake City, but he had vacated the right block area. Carpenter, Flanagan puts his head down and draws a foul. Time for our first timeout with 14. Block, who probably wouldn't see a bounce quite like that off the rim for quite a while. It was, at least based on the looks we had, a goaltend. At the very least, not clear enough to overturn the call on the floor. Shreveport basketball with a 3-point lead. Carpenter pulls up, deep 2, way short. And unable to save it, James Ellis. Senior transfer from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ellis, who was with Langston a year ago. Certainly a big game for him. Melvian Flanagan off the steal. It's 10-5 Pilots in the early going. Ellis has played at 3 schools, and all of them are still playing right now. He started his career in his native Pittsburgh at Duquesne. Duke's just won an NCAA tournament game for the first time in more than 50 years. Inside Cortez Mosley, he was fouled on the floater, and he will get 2 free throws after 6 minutes of action on day 2. Here's the steal by Flanagan and the run out to the other end. Even maybe took a little bump there from Devontae Brown. Mosley at the free throw line, where he's an 84% shooter for the year, senior from Peoria, Illinois. That snaps a 6-0 Pilots run and ends a nearly 3.5-minute Langston scoring drought. Nearly 13 a game for Mosley this year, second leading scorer for the Lions. They bring a couple of other nice scorers off the bench. Brown, who averages 10 a game, and Mitchell, who averages 9.9. So Mosley gets both, unsurprisingly. Excellent free throw shooter. And it's 10-7 Shreveport. King works left, King into the paint, King lost it, and it was last off Langston. The Pilots have hit 3 straight from the field and 5 of their last 7. Shot clock's running down though on Flanagan, forces a 3, missed it short. Ellis had a chance at the rebound, but Dean corrals it. A couple of rebounds in the early going for the 6-foot senior ToruDean, known to the defensive end for his steals, better than 2 a game on the year. Roy tried to drive, thought he was fouled, lost the handle. Carpenter, the Euro again. Calvin Carpenter missed the layup, and Mosley rebounds for Langston. Nice job by Dean to keep his concentration inside. The Lions couldn't get the finish, and Shreveport come out the other way. Pull up 3, King missed it, and a foul on the rebound against Langston. Ellis was fouled. He came up signaling exactly that, and the officials say he was held. Jakuth gets the foul.
Number 11, and number 3, ToruDean. On the floor for LSU Shreveport, number 23, Josh.
Lob into Ellis. Working against J. Allen Tovar. Fall away jumper way short. And Dean snatches it for the Lions. Mosley crosses over, kicks out. Another 3 from Lennox. It goes down. Jaquavius Lennox averages just 5.5 points a game on the year. He's hit 2 straight on 3s for the Lions already, and he pulls them back even. Their first field goal in nearly 5 minutes. King goes to the ground. Dean on top of him. Ball is loose. It's tied up, and the arrow goes to Langston. ToruDean averages better than 2 steals a game on the season, and look at the defensive intensity man-to-man. That deserves a second look. King and Dean. King just stumbled. Dean does go over top of him, but there's not a lot of contact. Then he maybe gets away with using his feet to trap that ball underneath him. So Dean could have maybe been called for a touch foul, could have been maybe called for a kick. He attacks, Ellis goes down, and it's a blocking foul.
Pilots foul charge to number 11, James Ellis, his second. Team's fourth. Substitution.
Been escaped by 1 point, the other number 1 seed. Dramatic late comeback for 14th seeded Central Baptist. Lennox again, missed it short. Rebound in the air, batted out, and Mosley tracks it down to the backcourt. And the officials want to reset the shot clock to 30 on the basis of what? Shreveport never had possession of that basketball. They put 27 on the shot clock. That's generous for Langston. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but there's no possession there. Shot clock should not have reset. Well, it should reset, but to 20, not to 30. Unless I missed something where a Pilot got both hands of the ball in there and then it got knocked free, but it looked to me like the rebound was continuously loose. Either way, Dean drives on King. Mosley wants it in the high post extended. Working on Jalen King. Bulls his way in and scores. Lions lead 12-10. They've scored 7 straight since our first media timeout. LSU Shreveport has gone over 3 minutes without a point. And a foul on J. Allen Tovar. That's his first. Now the team's 5th.
Lions foul charge to number 11, J. Allen Tovar. His first. Team's 5th. Checking in for Langston, number 1, Machado.
Lob goes into Jalen King. Looking to get it to Paul King. Works to the right side. Shot clock running down to the Pilots. King on the pull-up. King sticks it. First bucket for Paul King on his 4th try for the field. And he snaps a scoring drought of nearly 3.5 minutes for the Pilots to pull them even. Dean gets a high screen from Kuz. Dean, tough long floater, but he's fouled. Difficult shot. He's bailed out. That was a floater from 8-10 feet out, falling away from the basket. Paul King picks up a foul, his first, and the 5th on the Pilots. Both teams been called for 5. And ToruDean will shoot 2. 67% at the foul line this season. 66%, I should say.
Checking in for LSU Shreveport, number 4, Davis. Number 1 for Langston, number 0, Ronald Mitchell.
Substitutions for Langston. Ronald Mitchell, number 0, and the leading scorer, number 2, Anthony Roy, in the middle of your picture, who has not scored so far in this game. 0 for 3 from the field in his 6 minutes. Dean splits the pair. It's rebounded by Josh LeBon. Meanwhile, for Shreveport, Damon Davis brings the ball up. He's back on the floor after he picked up 2 fouls in just 3 minutes early in the game. So he'll have to be very careful with more than 10 minutes still to play in this first half. Contested fall away. He thought he was bumped by Roy, missed everything. Langston with a basketball and a 1-point lead. The Lions have led by as many as 2. The Pilots by as many as 5. Midway through the first half. Roy bangs in on the left block, missed it with his left hand. Kuz went for the tip. It's rebounded by Brown, who spins wildly and he's blocked. And that'll take us into a break. Langston will keep it. 9:51 to go in the first half. The Lions have come from 5 down to take a 1-point lead. Then we'll move down to the Liston quadrant later on this evening with number 1 College of Idaho, number 5 Madonna, 3rd seeded Morningside, and 2 seed Cumberlands. Free throws for DeMonte Brown. He shoots them at 77% for the season. It's a couple of misses in quick succession for Langston. So really, LSU Shreveport is the lone team on the right side of the bracket that you would call any sort of Cinderella. Other than that, it's gone almost completely chalk. The top 3 seeds in both the Dewar and Liston quadrants are both still here in Kansas City, or have all made it here. And the only other non-chalk team is 5th seeded Madonna, which is only off chalk by 1 seed line. Here's Melvian Flanagan. Crosses over with 7 to shoot. Flanagan puts his head down, missed it, nearly had his own miss in his hands. It was knocked away, but a foul. And Flanagan walks right to the free throw line. That's only the 6th team foul on Langston. But they'll say he was trying to put it back. So it is a shooting foul. And it goes on Anthony Roy. His first foul in what continues a difficult first half for the Lions' leading scorer. Flanagan cashes in on the first. Junior from Alexandria, Louisiana, shoots at 78% of the year.
Number 5, Tyler Washington.
Transferred from Wichita State. Number of Division I transfers on this roster. Josh LeBlanc from Nichols. Trey Johnson from McNeese. Couple of NCAA tournament teams this year. And James Ellis, of course, who's a transfer from Langston, who started his career at Duquesne. Both teams on 16 fouls now, so it'll be bonus the rest of the way for each. More than 9 minutes of bonus for both teams in this first half. Not enough at 14. Langston getting late into the clock without initiating much offense. Inside look for Kuth. Jostled inside, lost the ball on the floor. Tyler Washington is fouled. Great defensive effort by LSU Shreveport. Tyler Washington gets to the basketball, and he earns himself one in the bonus with 8:56 to go in the half. Kuth probably should have just gone right up with it. He was concerned about LeBlanc. And with all his focus on LeBlanc, it allowed Washington to sneak in there from the backside. And when Kuth brought the ball down to get a hand on it. At that point, once the ball was rolling on the floor, advantage Washington, who was first down there. And Kuth got a little piece of Chris Wright's mind on his way to the bench. Puts Tyler Washington, a good free throw shooter, at 76% on the line for 1-1. Shreveport has made all 3 of its free throws so far. Langston 4 of 6. Langston the better shooting team overall, but not by a lot. Alan Tovar was into the lane, and it won't matter. So Washington gets both. Shreveport back on top by 2. Something of a rock fight so far. Two teams combined 2 of 10 from 3. The Pilots haven't made one. Mitchell wants a deep 3. Missed it off the front iron, and it's taken in stride by Damon Davis. Good cross-court skip. Flanagan missed it short. Rebound batted out. Flanagan has a second try. And buries it. First 3 of the day for the Pilots, and they lead it by 5. Mosley got a stat. Mosley through contact and a foul that hurts Langston in the end because a soaring Alan Tovar just punched that through on the follow, but it won't count. So Mosley will get 2 free throws. Here's the triple at the other end. It was a great look initially for Flanagan, maybe a little deep off the good feed from Davis. Rebound out to him, and he went right back up. A contested 3 over Mosley, and splashes the first triple for Shreveport on 6 tries. Mosley back at the foul line. He split a pair earlier. I should say made both earlier. He misses the front of this one. 84% foul shooter. Rare miss for him. Jaquavius Lennox returns for Langston. And Mosley gets the second free throw. Pilots into the weave with 8 to go first half, up by 4. Trey Johnson turns the corner. Trey Johnson through contact, didn't get a whistle. Dean on the run out into Davis, who has 2 fouls already. Davis had to be careful, did not give the foul. Rebound out of bounds, last touch by Tyler Washington. He thought he was bumped from behind by Mosley. The officials did not agree. Meanwhile, James Ellis returns for LSU Shreveport, and Josh LeBlanc takes a seat. Roy still hasn't scored. Explodes past his man. Couldn't get it. But Cortez Mosley there with a 2-hand follow. Put back dunk by Mosley. Makes it 19-17 LSU Shreveport. Mosley 7 points, 4 boards already. He and Lennox have accounted for 15 of Langston's 17. Lennox comes up with the basketball. Roy off the wiggle. Step back 3 for the lead. He got it. Anthony Roy Just 1 for 7, but it's a big one. Langston back on top, a 6-0 run over the last minute. To answer, Washington misses. Dean has the rebound. The Lions feeling it now. Inside 7 to play first half. And a foul on Alan Tovar underneath. That was some 45, 50 feet away from the basketball. Here's Roy, who missed, but set up Mosley for the putback slam. And then Anthony Roy with the confidence of the leading scorer, averaging 19 a game. You can take the step back 3 even when you've started 0 for 6. And Roy buried it to give Langston the lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the previous play is under review.
The officials are going to go look at whatever happened. Did not really a basketball play. So 2 free throws for J. Allen Tovar. 63% shooter, gets the first. So he will go back down to 1 personal foul. It's the 7th, or it'll be the 8th team foul against LSU Shreveport, and the 3rd on James Ellis. Alan Tovar makes him pay with both free throws, and James Ellis worked up maybe a little bit to play against his former team, transferred from Langston where he spent last season and came here to Kansas City for the 2023 edition of the tournament. And he's going to have to take a seat now for quite a while with 3 personal fouls. And a foul called away for the basketball in LSU Shreveport. Dean was trying to work his way around a brush screen from Alan Tovar, and he was held by Paul King, who picks up his 2nd personal foul. They're starting to mount a little bit for the Pilots. And Dean gets the free throw. This is the 2nd. Rebound loose and eventually secured by LeBlanc. 9-0 run for Langston, and they've done it in not even 2 minutes. Shreveport led by as many as 5 a couple of different times in this game. In large part, as you see from their great start in the paint. There's another Pilots turnover. Here comes Lennox through some contact, creates space and scores. The largest lead of the day for Langston. It's the Lions by 6. Lennox, the first man to double figures with 10 points. King turns the corner, leans in and kicks. Johnson to Flanagan, step back 3, way short, rebounded by Lennox. He has 10 points, a couple of boards. Mosley has 7 and 4. The Lions have had to go to other guys because Anthony Roy has only 3 points on 1 of 7 shooting, their leading scorer this year, who normally carries such a heavy load. Here's the aforementioned Roy. Off a ball fake, good look. Splash again! Back-to-back threes for Anthony Roy. 14 straight for the Lions, and they lead it by 9. King in a double. Steps through LeBlanc. Underneath Washington, he's fouled. Leading scorer confidence. Anthony Roy started 0 for 6. He's hit a couple of tough threes. A step back, this time a step back, a ball fake, a flyby. And Langston has totally flipped this game around. 14-0 run remains for at least 1 more free throw. It was only 3 minutes ago. Langston trailed 19-14. LSU Shreveport had matched its largest lead up by 5. 8 minutes to go until the half. You're thinking maybe the Pilots can hold on to that lead until the break. Give themselves some real confidence. Washington gets the 2nd to finally end the run. Since then, Langston has outscored LSU Shreveport now 14-1. Here's Sharif Knox, the masked big man. Mosley wants it. Dean, pick and roll with Knox. Skip past Mosley, got ahead of steam, and he's fouled by Washington. Mosley wants an intentional foul. From my vantage point initially, it looked like Washington made enough of a play on the ball to avoid it. Either way, it's been all Langston the last few minutes. 28-20 lead. And Mosley will be going to the free throw line on the other side of the timeout for the break. That's a couple of misses already for Mosley at the stripe. 3 of 5 in the first half. 84% foul shooter. He's missed 2 of his last 3. Doesn't seem fazed by it, though. And he gets the second one. 29-20 Langston. Nate Gatter, our NAI Network crew, with you for the first of 4 games today in downtown KC. Well, it has been very busy right now, and last week as well. This building hosted the Big 12 Women's Tournament just a week ago. Carpenter works his way in. Fall away, blocks. Gets it back. King. And the official wants to check the shot clock for him in Kansas City. King was fouled. He got Dean in the air. Dean picks up his first personal foul. And King, who is playing with a couple of personal fouls, goes to the free throw line. He has 2. Damon Davis also has a pair for the Pilots. And James Ellis, by virtue of that flagrant, has 3 now. Meanwhile, for Langston, Knox, Kuth, and Roy all have 2. There was concern when that foul was initially given against J. Allen Tovar that he had 2, but he's back down to 1 after the correction was made by the officials. On the drive, Lennox, skip pass, kick out, Demonte Brown. Great feed by Lennox. Brown buries the 3. It's a double-digit Langston lead for the first time today. The Pilots haven't had a field goal for more than 4.5 minutes. Almost got one from Trey Johnson, but he'll go to the free throw line instead for a pair. And the foul goes on Sharif Knox. That's his 3rd. Chris Wright telling him, keep your arms straight up. You don't have to worry about it. So Johnson at the foul line, 55% free throw shooter this season. Nearly 5-point-a-game scorer on the year from Baton Rouge. Missed badly on the front. And he's not a bad shooter generally. Shoots better than 50% from the field. He made half of his 3-point attempts this year. Granted, not a ton of them, but roughly 1 a game. But the free throw line, a little bit of an issue. Dean and Knox sit down. Allen Tovar back on for Langston as really the only size on the floor for the Lions. But neither one of these teams is especially big. Lions have a lot of length, more than they have a lot of pure size. So I think works well for them because those Chris Wright teams like to defend with tenacity, like to play fast, harass the ball handler. Good drive by Brown. He got it, plus a foul. A personal 5-point run for Demonte Brown. How about that look to the LSU Shreveport bench? Brown, the drive, past Johnson, fouled by LeBlanc, and Mosley did well to restrain himself, keep his hands away from the rim, lest he get a basket interference call. And Demonte Brown at the free throw line. Averages 10 a game. They've got him down for 4 right now. It should be 6 points when they count that basket. but he stays there after missing the free throw. Just 1 for 3, Brown at the free throw line, 77% shooter. So he and Mosley, uncharacteristically, have made just 5 out of their 9 free throws to this point. Langston steal. Mitchell floats ahead to Lennox, who's posts in for 2. Game high 12 points in the first half for Jaquavius Lennox, who has missed just once from the field on his 6 attempts. 36-23, the Langston lead. Jump stop, King in a straitjacket, steps through and lost the ball. Alan Tovar the steal. Brown takes a bump and a steal by Carpenter. Physical challenge for the basketball. The pace of this game has really picked up. Paul King for 3. Rebound Brown. The Lions have made their last 6 shots in a row from the field. They lead by 13. Here's J. Allen Tovar, allowed to shoot. Jumper rims out, and LeBlanc claims the rebound. This left Allen Tovar completely alone from 16 feet out. Carpenter on the pull-up. Off balance, Jay is good. Tough shot, Calvin Carpenter. He has 4. And Chris Wright calls a 30-second Langston timeout. Look at Calvin Carpenter's legs here when he goes up for the jumper. They are all out of whack. Right foot behind him, left foot in front of him. Nothing was on balance about that jumper, but it did not matter, even in some traffic as well. Carpenter sinks it, and Shreveport trails by 11. Back-to-back wins for the 24-8 Pilots. But they've got a real task in front of them. Get to know LSU Shreveport a little bit. Not nearly as old as Langston, just founded in 1967, but more than 4 times the enrollment. And as I mentioned earlier, making their 19th straight appearance in the NAIA tournament. 2 of them have gone to the, or twice they've gone to the Fab Four all time, including most recently in 2018. (36-25) to score. Inside 2 minutes to play first half. Paul Turner, 21 in white on the floor for the first time for Langston. Inside J. Allen Tovar had a good look, had to go to the right hand and missed it. Got a lot of lefties on this team. Both teams for that matter. Calvin Carpenter's another one. Handling for the Pilots. What, supposed to be 10%, 12% of the population? I think we got more than that in this game. Johnson's another one. There's LeBlanc, goes to the right hand and scores off the glass. Physical challenge on J. Allen Tovar, and he let him know about it. First points in the paint for the Pilots since they scored their first 10 in there. 10 straight in the paint, then 15 straight outside. And now they get a couple. Turner, little wiggle. Backs in, draws a double. Here's Devontae Brown, he's been hot. 7 to shoot. Brown slashes through the defense and scores. 8 first half points for Devontae Brown, and he restores Langston's lead to double digits. Timeout LSU Shreveport. Here was the physical bucket by LeBlanc. Straight through Allen Tovar. How about that? Sending a message without saying a word, but Brown just able to put his head down, sneak past Johnson, and there was no 22 guys who've been on the court in this game. 38-27 Langston, 41.5 to go until halftime. Long pass, ill-advised, but corralled by LeBlanc, who finds a back cut, and Jalen King for 2. Borderline reckless pass works out for the Pilots. Only about a 1 second difference between game and shot clock here. Langston can just about hold for the final shot. And the Pilots are trying to hurry him up. Lennox controls and settles. Mosley with 7. Mosley with 5. Skip past Turner. Steps in deep 2. Missed it short. King with a second. King hoists, but it's way after the buzzer and will not count. It's a 9-point Langston lead going to the half. LSU Shreveport led by 5 multiple times in this game. But Langston closes the half on an authoritative run of 24-10, and they lead it by 9 at the break. Meanwhile, for Langston, especially in the early going, when Anthony Roy, who averages a team best 19, got off to an 0-for-6 start, it was Jaquavius Lennox who carried the load. Senior from Hugo, Oklahoma, had a dozen in the first half to lead all scorers on 5 of 6 shooting with a couple of rebounds and an assist. You see the three-point shooting. That's what really stands out. LSU second half of that game. Evangel led comfortably by as many as 20 in the first half, looked in total control before Lewis Clark State surged back to even tie the game late. But ultimately, Evangel, the Missouri team still remaining in the bracket, took it by 3. So the 15-seeded Valor of Evangel will take on top-seeded Grace tomorrow afternoon in our quarterfinals. We'll get you the remaining quadrant of yesterday's scores when we get the opportunity. Here's LeBlanc, who we just highlighted a moment ago. Kick out to Paul King. Pull up Jay. He missed it. Rebounded by Jay Allen Tovar. Foul trouble update. Ellis is the lone player in the game with 3 fouls. James Ellis, who starts on the bench for Shreveport. We haven't seen him since the flagrant foul on Allen Tovar in transition midway through the first half. LeBlanc does have a pair. Dean on the attack, trying to feed it underneath to Allen Tovar, tipped out of bounds. LeBlanc has 2 fouls, as do King and Davis. So 3 of the starters for Shreveport who are out there to begin this second half. Number 2, Paul King. Number 4, Damon Davis. And number 23, Josh LeBlanc. All have 2 fouls. 24-10 run for the Lions to finish the first half, who trailed by as many as 5 midway through that first half, and make it now an 11-point lead again. Anthony Roy scores from inside the arc for the first time. He has 8 points on 3 of 10 shooting. And you see the 1 of 9 3-point shooting for the Pilots in the opening 20 minutes, which was critical. And ultimately Langston's biggest advantage. The Lions made 4 more 3-pointers, and they lead by 11. That's 1 fewer than those 4 3-pointers represent. LeBlanc missed the floater. Allen Tovar has another rebound. Roy took a tumble, didn't get a whistle, and it's a Langston turnover. The Lions 6. Be interesting to see how Langston manages the final 18 minutes and change of this game, and I think that's the reaction you expect from Chris Wright, because on the one hand they have a comfortable lead, and since the very early stages I think that it has been clear there is a gap in quality between these two teams, and you expect the Lions to be able to see this out. On the other hand, it's not in their nature to slow it down and play half-court basketball. They like to get out and run and be aggressive. Good skip pass in the corner. Calvin Carpenter missed the 3. Tip and a foul on Roy against Tyler Washington. And to my eye, I wonder if you could say Washington was shooting there on the tip, but the officials are going to say it was a rebounding foul. Washington went to the free throw line thinking maybe he should be shooting. Either way, it's a 3rd personal foul on Anthony Roy, which is significant. Langston's leading scorer sits down with 17:53 still to play. 3 fouls for Langston on Sharif Knox as well, the bench big. And Majak Kuth has a pair. Washington took a bump from Mosley, but recovered. Here's Davis. Terminates. Sends it out to Carpenter. Carpenter on the wiggle. Pull up Jay. Missed it left. Rebound loose and pulled in by Kuth. Shreveport just not shooting the basketball well. Under 36% from the field. 1 of 10 from 3-point range. Mosley wants it on the block against Davis. Draws a double, splits it, stripped by Davis. Mosley pulls it back in, left hand, no. Rebound LeBlanc, and it's secured by King. Three minutes played, second half, just 2 points on the board. LeBlanc lost it, a turnover. Only 6 turnovers for each team, which is not bad at this stage, but it has not been clean basketball. Though, to be fair, I don't think Langston necessarily goes into a game looking for clean. I'm sure Chris Wright would love if his team played without turnovers, but he knows as well as anybody that the Lions like to create a little bit of chaos. And when you do that, sometimes the ball's going to be on the floor, like so. Carpenter secures the 7th Langston turnover. Carpenter splits the double, took a stumbling step to the left of the rim and finished. How about that from Calvin Carpenter? His balance on jumpers are there on the running, stumbling, lunging finish. Something else. First bucket of the second half for the Pilots took more than 3.5 minutes. That's not going to work. Dean into the corner. Here's Lennox. Brown had to wait on that pass. Off the ball fake, gets to the rim and scores. That was too easy to go by Calvin Carpenter after the ball fake. And Brown joins Lennox in double figures for Langston. Carpenter goes back to work. Mosley claps his hands. Hedge on Carpenter. And a foul on the entry. That'll go against Lennox, his second. Gives us a chance to look at this bucket by Carpenter again. You almost want to say there must be a travel in there. Maybe he gets away with an extra step. Tough to tell, though, because the ball's kind of loose and he's gathering. So he might just get his two full steps there. Regardless, a really high difficulty finish. And I think he deserves the 2 points, even if he did get away with maybe a little extra step. But I'm not saying he did. It was tough to tell. Washington's 3 rattles out. They're 1 of 11, the Pilots. Rebounded by Ronald Mitchell, the senior from Philadelphia, who averages just under 10 points a game, but he only played 7 minutes in the first half. Did not score. He missed his only attempt from the field. Dean sets up Sharif Knox, who was limited in the first half because of those 3 fouls. Dean finds a cutting Kuth, took a hit and scored. Majak Kuth with the left hand through contact makes it a 13-point Langston lead. Matches their largest at any point tonight. Davis. Langston plays really good help side, even on the perimeter, and a foul before the travel called against the Lions. A lot of teams play good help side on the back end. Not a lot have guards that can give you that little shuffle and make it different. 13-point lead for top-seeded Langston. Inside 15 minutes to play in the first of 4 round of 16 games today in KC. LeBlanc works it on Kuth. Let him go up and down. That was good patience from LeBlanc. And just a second field goal for LSU Shreveport in 5.5 minutes since halftime. Oh, very physical. Carpenter running into Brown, who I don't think intentionally was setting a screen, but to the extent that he did, it was a moving screen. Mitchell drives on Carpenter, physically cut off. Carpenter knocked it away. The shot clock reset, and that's costly for the Pilots. Shot clock would have been under 7, 6. Dean kicks it out. Brown thought about a 3, steps inside, bangs in on the block, missed it, but a foul on the rebound against Shreveport. Calvin Carpenter's going to get it. That's an interesting, tough decision for the shot clock operator. I think it was probably the right one, because Carpenter did have 2 hands on the ball there for a second. But otherwise, Langston would have had 6, 7 seconds while picking the ball up in the backcourt. Though in the end, the Lions went pretty quickly anyway, so they might have been able to do everything they did. Regardless, 14 minutes to go, 20 on the shot clock. Jalen Tovar back on for the Lions. Sets up Dean for 3 from the corner. Lions lead by 14, their largest of the day. Davis, hard hedge, Alan Tovar. Washington attacks into Alan Tovar. No, chased his own miss. Alan Tovar did the splits, jumping over the basketball to make sure it wouldn't hit him, and went out of bounds off of Washington. Not bad for 6'9". Lions basketball, 14-point lead. Here's Lennox, another three. Missed it short. Good rebound by Washington. Went way up for that. Didn't really need to. There wasn't a lot around him, but shows the guy's locked in. When he gets that high for a rebound, really rips it down. King is hit. And a foul on Mosley, who then threw the ball ahead. I don't know who he thought he was passing that to with the flow of the play. In the end, just to the Lions cheerleaders. And Paul King has stayed down, holding his right shoulder. Be very problematic for LSU Shreveport at this stage. And he seems to be in quite a bit of pain. See if he comes down on this shoulder. Mosley hits him on the forearm, and then he comes down with that elbow and shoulder, taking the brunt of the impact into the floor, and he is hobbling off. Moving on to the quarterfinals as the third #1 seed to make it. We'll see College of Idaho, the defending national champions, and the fourth #1 seed at 5 o'clock Central Time this evening. At least that's the scheduled time. Usually by that point we've fallen a little bit behind. So King not able to shoot these free throws. It's LeBlanc, 53% foul shooter on the year, makes his first of the day. LeBlanc gets both. And I don't see Paul King on the Shreveport bench. So I think he has gone back somewhere out of view. Anthony Roy hits the three. A third triple for Anthony Roy, who after a wretched start has hit 4 straight from the field. He has 11 points. And Langston leads it by 15. Foul called against the Lions. And we can show you that Roy bucket again. Might have been fouled as well by Davis. Looked like there might have been contact on his arm, and then he kind of got into his space on the landing and made contact with his legs. Here's Davis, drives on Roy, gets around him, sets up Johnson, corner 3. Another miss for the Pilots, 1 of 12 from 3-point range. Normally a 34% three-point shooting team, which is probably about average, maybe just a tick above. Dean crosses over, kick out. Brown off a ball fake, attacks over Johnson and scoops it home. 17-point lead for Langston, largest of the day. DeMonte Brown has a dozen. Carpenter, the answer. Calvin Carpenter has 8. Nobody into double figures for LSU Shreveport. LeBlanc, Carpenter have 8 apiece, and Flanagan has 7, though he has not scored in the second half. He hasn't played much so far in the second half. He's out there now, 12 in gray. Look at Roy. Looks so comfortable one-on-one. It's just slow for him. Knocked away by LeBlanc. Not sure Roy has gotten a foul call this entire game, but it doesn't seem to have disturbed him too much. Seven on the timer. Alan Tovar turns, sets up Dean on the curl. A beautiful roll, and it's Alan Tovar at the end of it. Two-man game. Dean and Alan Tovar with 7 on the timer. They pulled off 3 passes between them. The only 2 Lions to touch the ball, and it's back to 17 in style. That was beautiful basketball. Drive by Flanagan, got away with a little travel, but he was fouled. And we can go back and look at, I think, safely the best sequence of the day. So there's the inbound to Tovar, handoff back to Dean, and the bounce feed right in the pocket back to Alan Tovar, who punches it home. That is pretty. And it's pretty basketball with a little bit of violence at the end of it. It's got some of everything. Flanagan shoots 2. And rattles in the first one to give him 8 points, matching Carpenter and LeBlanc for the Pilots' lead. Flanagan gets both. He has a team-high 9 points. Meanwhile, 3 Lions in double figures. Lennox has 14, Brown 12, and Roy 11. But it's the three-point line, really. Brown missed it badly. That got backboard first. And the rebound eventually secured by James Ellis, getting his first minute since that flagrant foul midway through the first half. Even with that miss by Brown, Langston has made 7 threes on 14 tries. He shields off Flanagan and got the layup to roll home. Brown has 14, matching Lennox for the game high. For the Lions, 7 of 14 from 3. LSU Shreveport, 1 of 13. That's 8%. Carpenter, tip pass, steal Mosley. Dean on the run out. Ellis wants the block. Dean goes into his chest, lost it, and a foul. That's the 4th on James Ellis, who, to be fair, did not do a lot to initiate that contact. He was eyeing it for the block. Dean saw that all the way. The one thing he didn't want to do was put it up toward the backboard and let Ellis pound it off the glass. So he jumped into the LSU-S right on in the chest of Ellis and got the foul. Dean now 3 of 4 at the free throw line.
Also checking in for LSU Shreveport, number 3, Jalen King.
Dean has 5 points. By the way, DeMonte Brown has not missed from the field, 5 of 5. And Lennox 6 of 8, so they've been very efficient. And Roy, since he went 0 for 6, has made 4 in a row. So the Lions really have been just fantastic since that less than stellar first to say 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Here's Ellis working in on J. Allen Tovar, spins beautifully, got him in the air, count it, plus the foul. Great move and finish by James Ellis. Foul goes on J. Allen Tovar. His second. Look at this spin. Beautiful. Took a little bump. That's the worst kind of foul from J. Allen Tovar's standpoint because he hardly affected the shot at all. It is a foul, but then he doesn't even hit him on the arm or anything. Might as well at that point bring your right arm down and get your money's worth. Make sure Ellis can't get it up on top of the rim. Free throw way short. Offensive rebound. Carpenter took a hit from Kuz and he got it plus a foul. Back-to-back and ones for the Pilots without Langston touching the basketball. It was a bad free throw miss by Ellis. In the end, it worked out for Shreveport. Carpenter, the first Pilot into double figures. He has 10. And they've closed the gap to 14. This free throw is way off. Coote just got a little hand to it, but couldn't secure it. And Carpenter did not hesitate, went up right away, giving up 5 inches on Coote, got into his chest, much like Dean did at the other end. Took a pretty serious hit and still scored it off glass. Make it 11 for Carpenter after the free throw. Contested inbound, taken by Dean off the tip. Could have been another Langston turnover. Langston might have had or rather LSU Shreveport might have had a chance at a 7 or 8 point possession. Roy draws 2, splits them, gets inside and scores. Anthony Roy, since an 0 for 6 start, has been flawless. 5 straight from the field for Roy. He has 13 points. Langston back into his zone, I think, for the first time in the game. Out of bounds, lashed off Johnson and LSU Shreveport. You can't believe it, but it's Langston basketball on the other side of the timeout. Not his right shoulder, and they have it in a sling on the LSU Shreveport bench. So it would certainly appear that Paul King's night is finished, and barring a miraculous Pilots comeback, certainly would then look like his season would be finished. Knox misses. Offensive rebound, Roy. He has been perfect. 6 for 6 since that 0 for 6 start. 15 points. Davis misses. Rebounded by Knox. "17-point lead for Langston. Inside 9 minutes to go. The winner advances to the 5 o'clock quarterfinal tomorrow to play the winner of our second game today. Second seeded Indiana Wesleyan and third seeded Arizona Christian. It's a foul for a moving screen on the dribble handoff against Langston. Lions, I mentioned it a couple minutes ago, got away with one that was a little bit marginal. But this time, Lennox gets the foul. It's his 4th. He is the first player with 4 for Langston. Ellis has 4 for Shreveport. The Lions also have 3 other players, Roy, Knox, and Kuth, who have 3 fouls apiece. Mosley the steal. He saves it to Lennox. Final 8.5. Really nice cheering section here as well in orange and navy, supporting Langston. You'd have to imagine that disappointment from the loss last year here in Kansas City lingers a little bit. Step back, Dean. Rebounded by Carpenter. Carpenter spins away from Dean but lost it. ToruDean, another steal. A foul, and does the basket count? The officials talk it over. It was swatted off the backboard. And you found out as soon as you finished a question that you aced it. Must be nice to go over and get a look and say, yep, we were right. But there's a lot going on that play, to be fair to them. Getting the foul. Dean catches in on the 3-point play. It's a 20-point advantage for Langston for the first time. And then you're also trying to make sure that the 2 guys going tumbling into the basket support are okay. Meanwhile, Carpenter, on what would ordinarily be sort of a part of the play that no longer matters once the foul is called, is making what turned out to be a goaltend. There's a foul underneath that will send LeBlanc to the free throw line for 2. The foul goes on Knox. It's his 4th, and he has not been able to stay away from the whistle tonight. That's 4 fouls on Knox in just 9 minutes. Junior from Philadelphia. He has been consistently frustrated, and J. Allen Tovar is going to come back on for him with 7:47 to go in the game. And LeBlanc at the line, where he has made both, but now 2 for 3. Definitely stay with us for our next game. Arizona Christian, Indiana Wesleyan will be 15-20 minutes after we finish up with this one. And seems to be the consensus among the experts that is likely to be the game of the day, at least on paper. LeBlanc misses both. Mitchell tracks down the rebound. Still a 7-0 run for Langston over the last 2 minutes and change to stretch the lead out to 20 for the first time. The Lions have not been remotely challenged so far in this NAIA tournament. Roy crosses over. Roy gets in his bag, recovers, goes up, missed it. Allen Tovar has the offensive rebound. Roy's string of 6 straight for the field comes to a close. But still been a good and, in the end, shockingly efficient game for him despite his 0 for 6 start. Mosley on the turnaround, banks it home. A beautiful kiss off the window from Cortez Mosley. What a pretty bucket. He has 10, the 4th Lion in double figures. Plus ToruDean, who has 9. It's been a beautifully balanced effort. Look at this move. Jump stop, the twirl, and the kiss. The big LU. There's another sign up there somewhere. They don't have it up right now. I think it's right behind. You can see the woman with the big, it's big LU sign has another one right behind it that says, so here's a big L for you. And that's how it's gone today. Certainly since Langston found their sea legs 8-10 minutes into the game, trailing by 5. There it is, peeking out from behind. There's another sign up there that somebody else had that they're not showing right now that says, I searched Google, but I still couldn't find any competition. And that's about how it's felt for Langston this year. This would make them 33-1. It would be a 14th straight victory for the Lions. Davis hits the three, just the second of the game on 13 tries for LSU Shreveport. The Lions have just one loss on the year. It came on February 1st at Sagoo, a team that we've seen here in recent seasons in KC. Mitchell is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. A chance to finally get on the board. Ronald Mitchell, whose averages nearly 10 a game. And, well, a lot of other players have filled it up for Langston. He has not scored just one shot from the field in his 10 minutes. So he will go to the foul line, where he shoots at 81%.
Ronald Mitchell's on the line, 2 shots.
Not only would this be the Lions' 14th, 81% free throw shooter. Ronald Mitchell just airballed the first one. It's not his night. But I suppose if you're going to have an off day, the time to do it is when your team is cruising by 19 anyway. Plenty of time for a bounce back tomorrow. Mitchell sticks the second. He shakes his head in frustration. 67-47. Good news is I think everybody but Ronald Mitchell will have forgotten that free throw in 5 or 10 minutes. You got to give him credit as well for getting the second.
Lions foul charge number 0, Ronald Mitchell.
Langston is way over the limit, so 2 free throws coming even on the foul on the floor here for Damon Davis. 75% free throw shooter this season. It's his first trip to the line today. Alan Tovar had checked out and gone to the bench with Kuth coming on, but Langston has to wait to make that substitution until between the 2 free throws. So not only would this be the 14th straight win for Langston, but it would be the 9th in a row by double digits. And 6 of those 9 have been by 19 points or more if they hold on to win by that margin today. So far in the tournament, they beat Bellevue by 39 in the first round and then Ave Maria by 30 in the second. So LSU Shreveport can take solace in the fact that this is comfortably the best game anyone has played against Langston so far in this NAIA tournament. But if the Pilots can't find some semblance of a comeback in the final 6.5, I don't know how much solace there will be left for them to take in anything. Mitchell lost it out of bounds, and Chris Wright is furious. Some coaches have certain wardrobe sort of reputations. I love that Chris Wright still wears a suit and tie. A lot of coaches don't anymore. You know, coaches get reputations for ripping off their jacket as they start to get agitated. That's not what happens to Chris Wright. His shirt tail comes out. And he spends most of the second half generally, sometimes the first if it's an intense game, with his shirt tail out. But he keeps the jacket on, he keeps the tie on. A man who believes in looking good here in Kansas City. And he has spent a lot of time on the sidelines in this arena the last few years. Just unbelievable the job he has done with Langston. Dean on the step back, steps through, and he was fouled. Badly enough that it hardly looked like a shot in the end, but certainly he was going up, and he will shoot 2. The officials are clarifying exactly that. Kyle Blankenship was saying it wasn't a shot. I think you have to give Dean the benefit of the doubt there. Blankenship is saying it was a pass. To my eye, Dean was trying to go up, and then his right arm got yanked. And they aren't going to let him shoot 2. Dean has made 5 of 7 now at the line in this game, and he becomes the 5th different Lion in double figures. Roy 15, Lennox 14, Brown 12, Mosley and Dean 10 apiece. And Dean is having words with the Pilots right there at the line. All look friendly. That's 11 for ToruDean, who has a wide smile on his face on his way back on defense. That's where he generally makes his biggest mark. He averages 9 points a game, so this isn't far off. Carpenter pull up 3. Rebound Brown, took a whack from Ellis, who got it loose. Kick out to Davis. Off the heel, rebounded by Brown, this time for good. Shoulder shake by Dean. A bang past Carpenter. Over the timeline just in time. Langston by 20 inside 5.5. Dean trying to turn the corner. Good defense, Calvin Carpenter. Roy late in the clock. Just looks like it's in slow motion for him. Took a little grab, but didn't get the foul. The officials say it's a travel. It was close. But the close calls have pretty much all gone against Anthony Roy in this game. Davis, a run to the rim, contact, and a blocking foul, count the basket. Kuth gets the foul, and David Davis will have a chance at a three-point play. He joins Calvin Carpenter in double figures with 11 points. And back to the foul line where he hit 2 a moment ago.
Also checking in number 44.
So Kuth will sit down with 4. He was replaced by Knox, who has 4. Lennox also has 4. If LSU Shreveport could find a way to force overtime, that would be a real problem for the Lions. As it stands, looks like they'll likely be okay. Davis finishes the three-point play. He has a dozen to lead the Pilots.
Checking in for LSU Shreveport, number 10, Trey Johnston.
Winner of this game will play tomorrow, scheduled for 5 o'clock Central Time. First game, Freed-Hardman Central Baptist. Second one, Grace Evangel. Then the winner of this against the winner of our next game today, Arizona Christian, Indiana Wesleyan. Still College of Idaho, the defending champs, against Madonna left. And Morningside against Cumberland this evening, the nightcap. Brown shovels to Mosley in a crowd through contact. Offensive rebound, Knox. Put back, no. Rebound loose. Secured by Davis. 2-on-2. Davis to the rim. And it lips home. 5 straight for Damon Davis. And LSU Shreveport has cut it to 15 with 4.5 to go in the game. Full court pressure causing some problems for Langston. Knox was fouled, I think, by Tyler Washington. And that will take us into a timeout. It's the 6th team foul on LSU Shreveport. So no free throws just yet. Back in a moment.
Got your back, man. We're all good. You can see Roy's disappointment, but I do think it communicates the relationship that Chris Wright has with his players, because he is ultra intense. Probably as vocal, as foot stompy, as fist pumpy as any coach we see here in Kansas City on a regular basis. And he is not afraid to get after the officials, but certainly after his own players. And they seem to respect that, which tells you that they also know how much he cares about them. Mosley misses inside. Offensive rebound, Lennox, a fresh 20 for Langston. Closing in on 4 minutes to go in the game. 5 straight points for the Pilots, but they still trail by 15. Dean turns the corner, poke free by Ellis. Secured by Davis, who has scored all 5 on this run for Shreveport. He missed it. Ellis tried to follow, couldn't get it. No whistle. 2 Pilots down behind the play. Davis is very slow to get up. Langston's going slow, and now a technical foul was just called on either Knox or Ellis, and whoever it is out of the game because they both have 4. Looks like James Ellis just picked up a technical. So Ellis gets a flagrant and a technical in a 2-point performance against his former school. Not how he imagined it.
A technical foul has been assessed to number 11, James Ellis of LSU Shreveport. That's his first personal foul. Team 7. Checking in for the Pilots, number 23, Joshua Ball.
Probably a lot of ways last night, James Ellis stared at the ceiling, envisioning this game might go. And I don't know if even in his nightmares he saw it this bad. Fouling out with a flagrant and a technical. And only 2 points. And it's too bad because he's a really fun player to watch. I mean, the 2 points he had were that beautiful spin move and the left-hand finish. Mosley shooting for the technical. Misses the first. Get one more. Ellis last year with Langston, when he's on his game, he was one of the more fun big men to watch at the tournament last year, I thought. Oh, Mosley misses both.
So in the end, it doesn't hurt Shreveport more than Ellis's disqualification, but they had to play most of the game without Ellis. He's been limited to 14 minutes because of all the fouls. But that will be the end of James Ellis in Kansas City, unless his teammates can come up with a 15-point comeback in the final 3:40. Roy gets a moving screen from Knox, and he is done. So both Ellis and Knox foul out on the same possession. And if you thought it was bad for Ellis fouling out in 14 minutes, well, Knox just fouled out in 10 without scoring. He has been the picture of frustration in this game. The good news for him is he doesn't need a spectacular comeback to get a chance to play tomorrow. James Ellis does. Just checking the floor, making sure it's dried up. Still a 5-0 run for LSU Shreveport. Langston has missed its last 5 from the field and 6 of its last 7. Scoring drought now for the Lions is close to 2.5 minutes. Carpenter puts his shoulder down, lefty layup, good, plus a foul. 7 straight for the Pilots, and Calvin Carpenter back to the free throw line, where he already completed an and one earlier in this half. Carpenter all the way across on Roy, and that's Roy's 4th personal foul, pretty clear. So Lennox, Roy, and Kuth all have 4, and Knox has already fouled out for Langston. The Lions have been called for 24 fouls in 36.5 minutes. Carpenter drains the free throw. 12-point game. Still take a lot, but it's not out of the question. Lennox in a trap. Lennox tied up in a foul. Davis can't believe it. That's his 4th personal. It'll be the 8th on LSU Shreveport. So 1-and-1 coming for Lennox, who has 14 points. He's been quiet, though, in the second half. At the foul line for the first time tonight, an 84% free throw shooter on the season. So one thing Langston hasn't done very well is shoot free throws. 60% now, 15 of 25 in the game. LSU Shreveport just thinking if they weren't 2 for 13 on threes, that's 15%. Normally a 34% three-point shooting team. That would get them 4, maybe 5 made threes typically. An extra 6 points, let alone an extra 9, and they'd be much more in it. The Langston zone. Johnson, ball fake out of the corner, leaves it in the middle, and a nice finish by LeBlanc. 12-point game and a steal. Washington brings LSU Shreveport within 10. Pilots press, causing some problems, and there's a foul. Dean tried to turn the corner, and Johnson set him into the scorer's table. Wonder if the officials might want to take a look at that one to see if Johnson was really making a play of the ball, and Dean comes away a little worse for the wear. He was certainly frustrated. Well done, the officials, just to walk the length of the floor there with the 2 of them. Make sure there wasn't any further incident. 1-and-1 for Dean. This is a big first free throw. And he has hardly put a foot wrong in this game. 12 points now, 7 of 9 at the line. He's added 5 rebounds and 3 assists. There's a couple of steals on top of that. 13 points now for Dean in a team-high 30 minutes. Carpenter steps back behind the arc. Johnson, corner 3, missed it short. 2 of 14, the Pilots from deep in this game. Roy slings it to Dean. Washington was just half a step late. And Langston can use some clock. Brown, double. Gets to the rim. Brown, no, but a foul. Just 2:22 to go.
And Langston with a chance to extend a 12-point lead. Devontae Brown, really the only place on the floor he hasn't shot well is the free throw line, 1 for 3, but generally a good free throw shooter at 77%. Meanwhile, that's 5 on Damon Davis, who has played pretty well in this game. 14 points, 3 rebounds in just 23 minutes because of foul trouble. So the 14 points even better than they look at first blush. He becomes the 3rd player to foul out in this game, the 2nd pilot, joining James Ellis on the Shreveport bench. 3 players have 4 each for Langston. Brown gets the first. With Langston now in the double bonus. Five different Lions in double figures. Brown is one of them. He has 14 points. And Langston leads by 14. 2:20 and counting. Johnson, deep 3. Missed it. Alan Tovar the rebound. Johnson 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. LSU Shreveport 2 out of 15. Langston has missed its last 5 from deep, but started 7 of 13 from 3. Roy, late in the clock against Carpenter, bumps him with 5 to the foul line with 3. Tried to whip it underneath to Alan Tovar in a steal. Johnson on the run with Dean behind him, picks his pocket and saves it. Only as far as the Pilots' Jalen King, but then the entry to King mishandled and Roy has the ball back. It's a little ugly for Langston, but they will take that. 45 seconds just came off the clock without anybody getting the shot up, and that works with a 14-point lead. Carpenter fouls Roy, who's going to have a chance to add to his 15 points at the line. $1:23 to go.
Anthony Roy, 2 shots.
Roy now 1 for 2 at the strike. Dean and Mosley make way for Langston. Lennox and Mitchell return. A little bit surprised Chris Wright hasn't gone deeper into his bench at this point, because I think now, after the Pilots did put a little scare into them, closing it to 10 with close to 3 minutes left, I think now it's safe to say probably all over but the crying for the Pilots, and they throw it away right into the scorers table. The 14th LSU Shreveport turnover. Langston had 13. 75 seconds to go. Pilot season will come to a close at 24-9. Langston will improve to 33-1 with a 14th straight victory, a 9th in a row by double figures.
1 minute.
Roy, a bomb, missed it short. Rebound tap to Mitchell, back out to Roy, and this will see out another 20 seconds for the Lions. The orange and blue on the far side come to their feet. 6 to shoot. Alan Tovar faces up, and he is fouled by LeBlanc.
Pilots foul charge number 23, Josh LeBlanc. This was personal.
So J. Alan Tovar will shoot free throws. Just 4 points for him in this game, and only 4 rebounds, but it feels like he was more active than that. Thought he's provided good minutes for Langston at both ends of the floor, even if some of it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. 2 for 2 at the strike. Didn't get the bounce on that one. LSU Shreveport going deeper into the bench. Keldon Schubert, 15 in gray, comes on for the first time. Sophomore from Jefferson, Texas. Langston doing the same with Roy checking out. Charles Gauthier comes on, freshman from Marietta, Georgia. As does Matthew Cooper, freshman from San Angelo, Texas. Paul Turner is back on. Michael Wright, junior from Chicago, in for the first time. And one more with Kuth returning for Jalen Tovar. So Langston clearing out the bench with 40 seconds to go, up by 17. Carpenter, 3 on the way, missed it. Rebound to Kuth with about a 3, maybe 4 second difference between game and shot clock. Call it 4. So the Lions most likely putting up one more shot. Gauthier looking for the entry to Kuth, and actually that now Langston might be able to hold it because the kick ball resets the shot clock to 20 and the game clock down to 17.4 seconds. So unfortunately for the bench lineup, I think that might cost them their chance to get a shot up. We'll see. Yeah, Chris Wright saying hold it, and Langston will indeed see it out. 78-61 is your final score in Kansas City to kick off day 2. The third 1 seed through to the quarterfinals. It's the Langston Lions on their 14th straight victory, and they will wait at 33-1 for the winner of our next game between Arizona Christian